If you think astrology is just horoscopes in the newspaper, you are doing it wrong. Join me and Danielle Paige for a fun and insightful conversation that uncovers the truth behind astrology. In this episode, you'll learn why astrology is really a tool to help you gain a deeper understanding of yourself, why learning about your sun or star sign isn't enough to give you proper guidance, and why your resistance to something could really just be a sign of total misalignment and not fear. Danielle Paige is an international soul astrologer, intuitive spiritual teacher, and founder of Purposely Divine, School for Your Soul and Astrology Mystery School. A self-taught astrologer who's been reading the stars for lifetimes, she continued her studies with some of the world's top astrologers. She then devoted herself to learning different types of healing to create her own style of spiritual medicine. By fusing astrology, energetic healing, and intuition, she's able to tap into her client's subconscious and help them heal their wounds, old patterns, and come back home to their heart. Danielle has given talks on mysticism and astrology at Glossier headquarters in New York City, the Assemblage Nomad with WITMA, the Good Fest, and has traveled to over 32 countries, bringing women together while leading retreats in Hawaii, as well as the Greek islands of Mykonos and Kithnos. Her work has been featured in Vogue Netherlands, Astrology.com, London Standard, The Numinous, Thought Catalog, J-Date, CBS Radio, and so much more. Today's episode is sponsored by my advanced digital training, Unleashed and Unapologetic, How to Become a Thought Leader and Build a Cult Following. If you're ready to gain visibility, build a loyal following, and create impact while increasing your income, enroll for the UNU training at rubyfairmont.com/unleashed. Now it's time to uncover the truth about astrology with Danielle Paige.
Welcome to today's Thought Leader, where I'm challenging you to rise up, speak up, and create a movement. I'm your host, Ruby Fairmont, and I'm here as a catalyst for you, the new generation of thought leaders. Join me every week as I dive into raw and real conversations that will help you amplify your presence, influence, and impact.
Hey, thought leaders, I am back with a soul sister and dear friend, and someone who really inspires me with her fresh look and take on astrology. Danielle Paige, welcome to today's Thought Leader.
Thank you so much for having me. So excited to be here and talk about astrology, which I love.
Yeah, and I think it's really funny or ironic that we happen to be recording on Mercury retrograde in the middle of it.
And today is kind of, there's some stuff going on with, Instagram, with Facebook. So people are seeing that there's actual validity to this, that just so you know, Mercury rules communication in all forms and electronics. So when Mercury goes retrograde, it messes up the wires with all communication, and that's what's happening right now today.
Yeah, Facebook is down, Instagram is down. Apparently Danielle can't get into anything on her computer, but we made it here. It was meant to be. Something that I love about your take on astrology is it feels more holistic. I think people like to label themselves, or we as a society have gotten so accustomed to labeling ourselves. And so people are like, oh, but I'm a Virgo. And so that means that I like this and I do these things this way. And this is like my soulmate partner. And this is the way that I need to do my business or whatever. But the way that I've been taught by you feels so much more holistic, which I don't know, for me, it gave me a sense of freedom with my chart. Yeah. Could you talk a little bit more about that aspect of it? Like how some people get tunnel syndrome with their signs, but it's actually so much more than just your sun sign.
I would love to talk about it. So that's actually something that I'm teaching right now in my astrology class. I'm teaching my students that exact thing, that don't get stuck in the labels. Everything with astrology, it's a vibration and it's energy, and we're energy at the end of the day. And again, this is not a woo-woo concept. This is actual fact that everything is energy. I mean, it's as valid, as it can be. So everything is energy. So all the planets, they're different energy, different frequency. All the signs are different energy and frequency. And so we actually have all of the vibrations within us, and we play them out at different times. So I tell people not to get stuck in, oh, this is the shadow energy of Virgo or the shadow energy of Libra. I must be this. No, how are you actually showing up with this energy? Because we can play out the shadow energy, and we do, but we can also play out the higher octaves. So what astrology does for me is it helps me, well, this is why I started, it helped me understand myself on a soul level. What are my behavioral patterns? Why am I here? What am I doing? What are things I need to really look at? How could I live my best life, right? How could I understand myself better? And so that's what I try to bring to the table with astrology, is really this deeper understanding of ourselves, not just like, oh, I'm a Libra and I can be with an Aries and that's it. And that's my soulmate. And if I'm not, that means we're not compatible. Like it's so beyond that. And I really try to keep it authentic and keep it real to the craft that it is.
Yeah. So what I'm hearing is it's really like a tool to help you dive deeper into yourself, get to know yourself at a totally different level, but also especially just for reference for our listeners, you know, the thought leaders, the purpose-driven entrepreneurs, this is also a tool for them to unlock some more of their potential.
100%. I actually work with a lot of CEOs, business owners, so that they can maximize their potential and they can understand, okay, what are my gifts? What are my strengths? What is my purpose? How do I use it in terms of career? What is my communication style? You know, how do I work with my clients, or how do I work with my customers, or what have you? So it's really about understanding yourself. And I mean, I work with people, you know, stay-at-home mom, 20-year-old student, 60-year-old woman, 7-year-old man, you know, CEO, professional, actress, celebrity, it doesn't matter. We're all energetic beings, and we're all trying to understand ourselves.
I love that. It's so true. It doesn't matter who, like what path we're on. We're all just on this journey of understanding ourselves and who we are and what we're here to do.
Yes.
Yeah. So for the purpose-driven entrepreneurs and the thought leaders and the people who know that they're here to create a bigger impact, I'm assuming you don't want them to just pick up a newspaper, go to the horoscope session.
No, please, for the love of God.
So, I mean, the horoscope section, let's get this straight, only talks about the sun sign, first of all, correct? So, I would love for you to give like a quick descriptor of like, I think it's the sun, the moon, and the rising that are kind of the most important. Is that right? I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah. So horoscopes only give the sun sign, and by sun sign, people call it star sign as well. It's when you were born. So I'm May 12th, so I'm a Taurus. So that would be my sun sign. So that's what the horoscopes show. But at the same time, the horoscopes are made up because they're, without getting too technical, they're based on a chart that doesn't actually exist. So horoscopes, they're not real astrology. Astrology is way different, like reading birth charts, understanding transits, cycles, progressions. It's a real science to this. And this is what I always say. For the people that don't believe it and they don't understand, I say, okay, you don't have to believe it, but you're feeling this, 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 and this, and I know you are, and you're going through this cycle, and it probably started around this date, and it probably is ending around this date, and you're going to feel the shift. And they're like, oh, yeah, exactly. So the birth chart is so much more than just your sun sign. When I talk to beginners, you know, I really like to start off with, yes, let's look at the sun, moon, and the rising. The sun is how you shine your light to the world. But to me, I don't even find that the most important. I think the moon is actually more important, because the moon in the chart is our emotional behavioral patterns. It is what we need. It's how we need to be nurtured, how we need to feel safe, how we react and we respond to things. So we automatically do our moon all throughout the day, but we don't even realize it. It's instinctual. So we need to understand, wait, am I someone that cries a lot? Why am I so sensitive versus like my partner is just like never cries, never see him or her cry? You know, what are they doing? And they're stoic about things. They're wired differently. So I like to look at that, because we actually project that all day long, but we don't even realize. And, you know, and then I get more in depth. Of course, I look at the aspects to see what planets are impacting each other. And then we get really technical. But in terms of that. I look at the sun, the moon, and then also, excuse me, the rising sign. And the rising sign is how you push your energy out, how you move through life. You know, you can imagine it like we all are wearing different glasses, and everyone has a different filter. And so your filter is going to be different than mine, and you're going to move through that lens, and that's your perspective through the world, because that lens is actually helping you grow into something that you're here to become. So we all look at everything differently through our rising sign.
Right.
So that's really, really important just off the bat, you know, and then I go more in depth, and then we look at your south node and then your north node, and then we look at Venus and Mars, and every different planet has a different vibration and a different purpose and a different meaning. And then once I explain, you know, what this is for, and we can understand how are you showing up with this, and where is it maybe hurting you in relationship, or where is this helping you? Like, what is your stumbling block? Let's look at it, because it's always right there in the chart.
Okay. So this chart sounds pretty fucking magical.
It is. It's your soul blueprints. It's the
Right.
blueprint of your soul. So.
So for those who are seeking, you know, the purpose-driven entrepreneurs and thought leaders that are listening right now, say they're like, whoa, wait, my mind is blown. I thought I was just like this sun sign, but I'm so much more. How can they start like really applying their chart to the work that they're doing in a way that amplifies it? You know, like how can they use this as a real tool to amplify the work that they're here to do?
They need to see, you know, how they're wired. One of the first things I do is I look at the rising sign, and then I look at the ruler of the rising sign. And that gives me a big flavor of how that person is going to move through life. And it actually shows some of your gifts. So for example, I know this might be a little complex, but I just want to show all these entrepreneurs, you know, how this works for business. I am a Sagittarius rising. Okay. So Sagittarius rising is all about, you know, meaning and purpose and the bigger picture in life and travel and philosophy and spirituality, all that. Okay. So that's a big clue. Even before I got into spirituality, I was always a rising sign, but I didn't know how to use it. So now that I know and understand, and I'm growing into my chart, because we all grow into our chart as we evolve, I'm using it for the purpose. And then I look at the ruler of the rising sign. And for Sagittarius rising, it's Jupiter. And Jupiter is in my 8th house. Now, again, this is a little complex. However, the 8th house is all about psychology, the psyche, going beyond the curtain, understanding people on the deepest level possible. Well, what is my work? Yes, I do astrology, but the basis of my work is helping connect people to their soul. So when I was trying to figure out my branding, when I was first starting and what I was doing, you know, I didn't know this at the time, but now in hindsight, I know, and this is why I help entrepreneurs. This is one of my gifts that again, I do astrology differently than other astrologers, because I'm really focused on the soul, because that's the 8th house and the psychology of it, right? So that is my gift. And so using the birth chart, you can really hone in on where's your brand going? What are your gifts? What are you good at? And so it's such a beautiful tool. And I know that there's going to be a lot of entrepreneurs that are like, I don't know, this seems very, you know, fluffy, woo-woo, whatever word you want to say. And I totally understand that, and I respect that. I want people to understand, again, that everything is energy, that there's so much more than we even know. You know, if any one person thinks that they know everything, you know, they're going to have a major wake-up call, because how are we even here? First of all, how are we on earth? How are we having this conversation?
Right.
You know, why are we even here? There's so many things that we don't even know. And also, I am a very logical person. My background is I have a master's in interior architecture. That's what I was doing. So blueprints, working with the engineering department. You know, I'm very logical, very detailed. I would not be doing this work if it was fluff and BS, because I don't need to be doing this. This is my calling, and that's why I'm here. But I wouldn't be wasting my time if this was not accurate. And I've been doing this for 10 years now, and it's truly life-changing. So I get it. I get that people are logical and they're like, I don't know, but it's okay to be skeptical, but it's also important to open your mind to other things that are not there, because if you keep your mind small, you're actually not going to be able to grow as an entrepreneur.
Right. Yeah. So it's really a tool to help assist with clarity and direction.
Absolutely.
Right.
Everything. It depends. We can focus in on people's purpose, what they're here for, career, relationships, self-undoing. We can see a lot of blocks and patterns. And I mean, let me tell you, I've understood so much more about my love life when I understood my chart, because there's some things in there that are very confusing and very, I don't even know the word right now. It's just very illusionary. And I was doing this in relationships. And once I understood that, everything changed for me. And I said, okay. And now I catch myself when I go down that road. So it's really this life-changing tool.
Yeah. Yeah. Sounds like it. And I know for me, I've just really started diving into it on a more serious level, where it's like, I really want to learn, like, the way I look at it is like, I really want to learn what makes me me.
Yes.
So that I can bring more of that out, because I find that, especially as entrepreneurs, we're in this industry, we're all hustling, we're all like doing our best, we're all really connected to our purpose, and we want to do whatever we can to bring that out into the world in a big way. And so we put a lot of pressure on ourselves, and within that, it's easy, I feel, that we fall into the trap of, I should be doing this because other people are doing this. And what I found is that everyone kind of has their own beat, and if we stick with our beat, like if I stick with my beat and what works best for me, then I'm going to create more flow in my business, but also feel better. And I found with astrology, that's really helped me understand, like, knowing my moon, that blew my mind, and understanding what like the moon was all about, that blew my mind. Like, I thought I was just like this rigid perfectionist Virgo straight off the bat for everything. And it turns out like I have way more Libra in my chart than Virgo.
Yes.
And that like completely, like, it was mind blowing for me.
And are you a South Node in Libra as well? I feel like I remember looking at that. I can't remember 100%, but I feel like you were.
I feel like Leo was my
Leo was your South Node. I don't know.
South Node or North Node? I don't know. The one that's all about like being a star. I don't know. Something like that.
There was strong Libra in your chart. I remember that.
Yeah. So it's that. And like, I know that there's a lot of people that are using astrology incorrectly. So I would love to hear from you, just because I love your take on this, like what not to do with astrology.
Oh, I see it all day long on social media. I mean, these things kill me. They kill me because, first of all, everyone becomes an astrologer when there's something big happening. And it's like, I don't own astrology, so it's not just for me to talk about, but like, if you're going to talk about it, please know what you're saying. I'm not going to teach a yoga class because I don't know how to teach yoga. I know down dog and up dog, but I can guarantee you I cannot do the flow. I don't know the movements. I don't know what muscles are working. I don't know what's going on. So I'm not going to pretend like I'm a yoga instructor every time there's an opportunity for me. I think people just really need to understand that it is a deep, deep tool. But yes, I think people use it as an excuse, as an escape. They use it, it's okay that it's playful because it's been brought to the masses, but I think people dumb it down a lot. And again, like I said in the beginning, I really like to keep it as close to this mystical craft as it is, because to me, this is what it is. This has been used since ancient times. There's a reason for that. Yes, we evolve. Yes, we grow. But there are certain tools and practices from the ancient civilizations that are important to us that we need to bring and fuse with modern day living. So that is my goal on earth here, is to bring this to the masses and bring the ancient tools to modern day, and not pretend like we don't have electricity, because we do, but there are systems and tools to use. And I also want to comment on something you said that was really beautiful about having our own beat. So my new tagline on my new website is "Embody your soul's cosmic rhythm."
Oh, I love that.
This is because this is all about, once you own who you are and how you're different and not try to be like someone else, then your life is going to prosper. And that's through money, through abundance, through love, through work, through business, through anything, because you are living on purpose. You're living your design, you're living your pattern, you're living your vibration. For example, I have something in my chart that was very hard for me growing up. And, I never understood it. I'm like, why can't I just do what everyone else is doing? Why can't I just be in groups of people and just get along and be great? And like, why am I like causing a conflict or needing to do my own thing? And it was really hard growing up. And then once I understood astrology and I started understanding it, there is something that makes me very different. I do things differently, and that is actually one of my gifts. So yes, when I wasn't aware of it and when I was younger and didn't know how to use it, it did cause problems. And that's why it's very important to understand that we grow into things.
Mm-hmm.
But now that I'm getting older and learning it and understanding what it's there for, it's the reason why I was able to start this business and do this, go off on my own when everyone's like, you're crazy, you're going to do astrology. I don't even know what that means. And I'm like, yes, this is my purpose. This is what I'm doing. I'm going to bring this to the masses. And I see like, it's like very much a visionary and doing things different and bringing it here and being okay with that. Like, I don't care that if I go left and everyone goes right, it doesn't matter to me because that's how I'm wired. So once I understood that, there's no oh, why am I doing this or why am I not like that, right? This is a true acceptance of myself. I mean, that's it. There's obviously more to it, but that's in a nutshell.
Yeah, that's really beautiful what you just shared. And when you said true acceptance, because that was what kept coming up for me is, you know, for so many people, we resist parts of ourselves, whether you want to call it your shadows or like your imperfections, whatever it is. We spend a lot of our lives like resisting those parts of ourselves. And for me, when I started to dive into my chart and understand certain things about myself, it allowed me the space for acceptance, but also through that acceptance created freedom, like to be me. And at the end of the day, like, we're all built differently. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, you know, you've got like the Gary V's, you've got the Danielle Paige who are more flowy, and everything in between. And so many people are trying to be Gary V when they're not actually built to be that, or they're trying to be like, they're trying to be flowy like Danielle Paige, but they're not built for that. So I don't know. I see this as like, you said the word blueprint, like it really is a blueprint. And when we start to understand it, it just allows us the freedom to be us.
And then it becomes easier because you're not doing something you're not forcing yourself to do a vibration that's not in alignment with yourself. So it's like we all have our own gifts. Every one of us, we chose when we're going to incarnate. We chose when we're going to come through. And when we took our first breath here on Earth, the stars and the planets, they were all aligned in an energetic format. The birth chart is the exact moment you took your first breath here on Earth. So in a way, it becomes imprinted into your soul. Again, how does this work? Everything is vibration. Do I know all the answers of the universe? No, I don't. But I know enough to know that everything is vibration. Why can you talk to someone that has passed over? Because it's vibration, because it's energy. Energy never dies. It just changes form. So we have this blue soul blueprint, and this is who we are. These are our gifts. You are different than me. I am different than your husband. Your husband's different than your neighbor, right? We're not all doing the same thing, and there's a reason for that, right? I can't do what you're doing, and you might not be able to do what I'm doing, and that's beautiful. But that's why people come to you, right? And people come to me, and we all have these gifts, and it's in the chart. Like, I'm supposed to go deep. I have one of the deepest planets hitting. I was going to say conjuncting, but people don't know what that means. Hitting the angle of career. It's the deepest you can get. So I'm supposed to go deep into people's soul and have them transform and see shadows and do stuff. Not everyone is supposed to do that. Right? And we're all here. I'm wired. I could not do interior design as I was, because I'm like, I can't, draw floor plans and ceiling plans all day long and pick out paint colors, because it had no substance to it, because I'm not wired to do that. Right? And it wasn't in my chart. That's why. I mean, obviously I did it for a little while because we all make choices, but it didn't feel good. Even before I knew astrology, I was like, I can't keep doing this. I'm not interested in picking $20,000 couches for rich people, that like, I'm just not interested. It's not even like a jealousy thing. It's like, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me, right? I need to do something that matters. And everything in my chart points to purpose and matters and soul.
Right.
There you go.
And it's and there's a definite difference between resistance, because you're just resisting because you've got some fears or whatever, and like just a massive unalignment, like a misalignment. And that's what people, I feel, struggle the most with, is navigating through, like, is this a resistance or is this actually a misalignment? And a lot of the times people who are, I don't want to do this, my business this way because like it doesn't feel good. And then maybe their coach is like, oh, you're just resisting. And it's like, no,
I
hate that.
I don't even work with a lot of coaches because based on how I'm wired. I have to do my own thing.
Right.
And everyone, you need to do something every Tuesday or Wednesday. And I say, I don't work like that. I've been in business for 10 years right now, never once doing that because it doesn't work for me.
Right.
I have to do it on my flow, on my rhythm. I can't do it like that. And I'm very successful and fine. Right. But someone else, they might need that. And sure, it's a good business idea if that works for everyone, but I'm not wired that way. So exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. Like some people just aren't wired that way.
I'm just not. Like, you could not get me to do that if you paid me.
Right. And it's again, like, it's just that sense of freedom. It's like, yeah, I'm not wired to do it this way. And I'm not, maybe someone's not wired to do video, but they are an exceptional writer. You know what I mean? And then a coach comes in, they're like, no, you're just resisting. It's like, no, they actually, their channel opens up better when they are writing versus on video. So I really want our audience to understand that, like, there is a massive difference between misalignment and your resistance due to fear, and astrology and knowing your chart can really help you uncover what that is.
Absolutely. And going back to what you said, I think a lot of, I mean, I'm just going to be very honest because I always say,
please do.
Self-known areas and very direct. I think there's a lot of coaches that just say stuff that they don't even actually know what they're saying because, again, I have their birth chart, I have their soul imprint, and I'm also getting intuitive information of their soul and how they're wired. So when people just say these generic things, for example, I've been told before I have intimacy problems. I've been told that. Let me tell you, I've done some serious, deep work in my life. I do not have intimacy problems. It has not been the right time. I am so open. I am so loving. I cannot wait to bring a partner in my life. It has not been the right time. And specifically, Spirit has showed me that. I see cycles coming up in my birth chart. So it's like people just say these things because that's what's expected. And that's what, let's resort back to, you have intimacy trouble. No, actually, I don't. Maybe when I was 20 because I didn't want to commit. But now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just, yes, people say things that are not valid because they're doing what they think they should be doing, not based on people's soul and their own energetic imprint.
Yeah.
That was my tangent with that.
Yeah. Right. I love that rant. It's
really, a perfect show for it. You're into that, so I love it.
I love it. And like, people need to hear it, right? They need to hear it. And don't let your coaches or your mentors push you into one direction or another. If it really doesn't align with your soul, then don't fucking do it. Just because I'm telling you that you should be doing it. So we're nearing getting close to the end of this episode. But I know that you have like several options for people to dive deep with you. And you have like a course, which is really cool. I would love to invite you to just share more about that for those who are interested in learning their birth charts and learning how to read them.
Thank you so much. Yeah. So right now I am running an astrology mystery school and I'm teaching people from beginning, not to end because there's no end with astrology, but from beginning to really understanding their birth chart and how to read it. And I have to say that there's 115 people in this course right now, and their minds are blown because they said they signed up for an astrology course and they got that. But what they're also getting is a deeper understanding of their soul. And like, even there was a lady in there saying she's been married 20 something years and she's now understanding herself better, understanding her husband's chart, and she's now showing up to the relationship differently, and it's helping their relationship. So that's amazing. So I'm going to be running another one in the fall. I also have a mini series. They're called Astro Hack, and they teach people how to hack their birth chart. So those are at a lower price point, and they could just purchase those anytime at the link in my bio. And I have 2 right now. I'm working on a 3rd. I also do monthly virtual full moon circles. So again, for a lower price point, $25, I bring everyone on the call, and we talk about the astrological weather, the purpose of it, the vibration of it, and we also do a meditation and a healing based on the theme of that month. So those are beautiful. I've been doing those for like 3.5, 4 years now, and they're incredible. So it's been amazing. And I have my retreat coming up in Greece. I have 1 more spot left in Greece for my retreat, and starting my podcast, and there's a lot going on.
Yeah. If people want to get more of you, what's the best place for them to go? Tell them how they can stalk you online.
Yeah,
they can all of this in the show notes.
Oh, wonderful. They can go to my Instagram. It's I am Danielle Paige, and that's Paige.
Perfect.
They can also go to the link in the bio, and I have a bunch of links there. My website is Healing Page right now. It's transitioning over, which will be redirected to Danielle Paige very shortly. And they can get all the info there.
Awesome. Danielle, it has been such a pleasure having you on. I just love your fresh take on astrology. And for our listeners, if you have like appreciated just her vibe around astrology, I highly recommend you check her out. Follow her for sure. And then check out one of her offers to dive deeper into your astrological blueprint. Danielle, thank you so much for being here, for sharing your wisdom. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. This was great.
And to our listeners, thank you for joining me and Danielle on today's Thought Leader, where I'm challenging you to rise up, speak up, and create a movement. If you have any questions for me or Danielle, please reach out to us on social media. You can find me at I Am Ruby. All the links will be in the show notes. And I will see you here on Thursday for a brand new episode of today's Thought Leader.